Alright, hello, good morning, welcome everyone to another episode of some video game pickups. I have a stack right here, it's a good looking stack, and if you can tell, even though they're on the side, there's a bunch of Switch games right here, and we'll get to those later. I won't start with Switch games this time, it's because this is the stack right here, so I'm just going to go top down, starting with one Genesis game, General Chaos. Really cool, I would say like RTS, but not really like I don't know how you'd really describe Jungle Chaos. It's like real time, kind of a strategy game. You have a bunch of like kind of advanced wars like type of minions, and you kind of throw them at each other and everything. It's cool. It's fun. I've heard nothing but good things about it. It's goofy, um, and that's just one Genesis game. It's a good one, right there. To go along with that, two good Game Boy Advance titles right here. Mario Golf Advance Tour, which is one of the, I can't even say one of the better ones. They're all good, really, for Mario Golf. But I wanted this one for a while, just because Mario Golf is so great. I've won all of them, pretty much. With this one, Metroid Fusion. I saw someone post this that you could buy one for like $10 from GameStop.com. So a couple of these games are from GameStop that I threw in with that order there. But Metroid Fusion, I was like, okay, $10. Metroid Fusion being one of the most faked games on the Game Boy Advance, I was like, that game's probably going to come and be fake, but I got free shipping by adding in a bunch of other stuff with the rest of them, and it came, and this is real. That's legit. So, let's see, you can't see it. But yeah, I mean, this is real for $10, Metroid Fusion. A couple of PS1 games on here that I actually found yesterday. First time I've been like out, just like not necessarily looking for games or anything, because I don't do that much anymore. But I did come across some good PS1 stuff. Dune 2000, and yeah, again, oddly enough, getting into strategy stuff, published by EA. Dune, I think it's Dune 2 on the PC. It was like one of the first big late 90s RTS games. Westwood, huge, with Command and Conquer and stuff. I think they did Dune 2 first. But yeah, Dune 2000 on the PS1. Probably not that great because I'm never huge on RTSs on consoles. But it's supposed to be good, and you can use the mouse for it if you ever find a PlayStation mouse. So keep that in mind. It's a cool find. I don't have the first one, but I do think I have at least one or two more, like I think the Wii one. But Tenchu is a surprisingly popular PS1 series, from what I hear from most people. Like, people consider Tenchu like a landmark, like a big franchise for the PlayStation, which is funny to me, because I never had seen it that way. And it's by Activision too, so it's a third party franchise, but I don't have the first one. I don't know if I'm ever going to play this very much because it's a stealth game, but it's Black Label, good shape and everything, so good pick up too. And finally, though, oddly enough, out of the 3 PlayStation games that I have complete, I actually have 2 disc-onlys too. Out of the 3 of those, I'm the most excited about Fade to Black, even if I never get to play Flashback. People aren't wild about this game, but this is the sequel to Flashback. 1 disc, but big manual, complete, on PS1. This is still a fairly cheap game, but I'm glad I found it, complete and everything. So, if I ever play Flashback, I'll have to play that. I might play it anyway, but I'm not done. And I do have 2 more. The thing about GameStop, ordering on GameStop, anything disc-based, you have to be, like, okay if you would pay that price for it to come disc only. And so these 2 games right here, I was like, yeah, I'm okay with that. I think I paid like $8 for this Blasto here, which people are wild about. And I don't know if it's necessarily the last game that he did, or the last project of any kind that he did, but that's Phil Hartman, like right before he died. It very well may be the last project he did before he died, but it's like a cult classic, like 3D adventure title. And then also Jumping Flash 2. Which I don't have any Jumping Flash. I've never had Jumping Flash 1, but I think Jumping Flash is kind of like a dirty word now. because of the fact that Sony is really apt to push it, such as on the PlayStation Classic being one of the first 5 games announced for it. And I get excited about it. I'm like, yeah, Jumping Flash, first-person platforming, like on the PlayStation is really cool. Nobody knows what Jumping Flash is. Largely, people get excited about those first 5 games, like Final Fantasy, Tekken, Ridge Racer, okay, and I forget what the other one was that they announced when they did those first 5 games. But to me, it was like, oh, freaking Jumping Flash, yeah, awesome, Jumping Flash. It was just like a $50, because it's a long box complete. I got Jumping Flash too, which you never see, so it was like $10 from GameStop. One DS game here, which is kind of weird. I think it was like $5 on Declutter, and with Declutter, it always comes with at least the case. I wish this had been in a nicer case, but I was like, yeah, you know what, I've heard good things about this, even though it looks like trash. This is Daniel X, The Ultimate Power, and published by THQ, based on James Patterson's, like, I guess, kids' books? I don't know, I'd never heard of them before, other than there being a game about it. But this is like a Metroidvania game, and I'd heard some good things about it. So for $5, knowing that it would come with a case, even though the case, this is on like one of the worst cases I've ever gotten from Declutter, but there's always a case, so it's no big deal. So that was cool. A little ad. Keep your eyes open for that in like bargain bins and stuff. Daniel X. I've heard good things. I haven't played yet, obviously, but actually, just so I can get the other disc only out of the way. I did get Animal Crossing. That was another thing that someone said, like, this is super cheap on GameStop right now, and I'm like, I have it on the EverDrive, like the N64 version translated. Excuse me, so I never really thought I would bother to get, like, the GameCube Animal Crossing if I got an Animal Crossing game. I'm very excited for the new one. Maybe that'll be the time that I actually get into it. But for, like, $8.50 to add into an order, I was like, yeah, give me the GameCube Animal Crossing. And then one more, because this was like $3.99. Scooby-Doo Night of 100 Frights, which is the one that's made by Heavy Iron, right? The other ones, the other PS2 ones, are made by Artificial Mind and Movement, which is not a good company, but whatever. God, I can barely read it there. I think this is the Heavy Iron one. So now I have, I consider them to be like a trilogy. I think most people would agree with that. Night of 100 Frights, followed by, I forget which one's first out of those two, but Unmasked and Mystery Mayhem. And leading up to Halloween last month, I had started watching some Scooby-Doo on YouTube, and I was like, yeah, Scooby-Doo. Even if the games aren't very good, I kind of want to grab the games because I like Scooby-Doo. I grew up watching Scooby-Doo. I love it. But it wasn't something I really paid much attention to lately. But grabbing a couple of the games, especially the Night of 100 Frights, because it's made by Heavy Iron, which is a really good company who made the two really good SpongeBob games. Rest in peace, Steven Hillenberg. The really good SpongeBob games on PS2 era consoles. So Night of 100 Frights is probably, out of the three of them, going to be the best. Although I don't think my guess is it's not that great anyway. But whatever, I don't think there's a truly great Scooby-Doo game. But I'm interested in it, so I might as well grab them. If this hadn't come out on physical, I would not have purchased it, but it did. NBA Playground, stupid title, NBA 2K Playgrounds 2. They jammed the 2K in there as if to, like, split the whole, like, customer base. Like, some people who would see 2K and trust them would be like, 2K, yeah, I'll buy it now. They'll make it better. And for me, it was like, oh god, the microtransactions are going to be even worse. Thankfully, the microtransactions in this game there's one microtransaction, basically. And it's the only complaint I really have about the game, but it is kind of a big one. The roster is really good, but the progression is so bad. It's almost Star Wars Battlefront 2 levels of bad, except that you only have to pay for things once. The progression to unlock more players, which is kind of the biggest attraction of the game, is so painfully slow and so difficult to get one person. If you just want one person, like, I don't know, Shaq. If you want to get Shaq, specifically, you can buy him, but it will cost you like, I forget what the number was that I got, but it would basically be like the equivalent of buying 5 gold packs, which is like 60 games. They're short games, but still, it's like 60 games you'd have to play to get enough money to just so you can purchase Shaq. And then you've not bought a bunch of packs in that span of time, so you're kind of, again, now you have to catch up to get other players that aren't the specific person you wanted. But the gameplay is tightened up a lot and everything. So if the microtransaction thing, the one $10 transaction to buy the whole roster, which would then take away any reason you have to play the game because you've already got all the players, then go for it. Much better game, much worse. Somehow managed to make the progression even worse. That's 2K. Got really excited about this for a long time, and as you can see, it's so densely packed with releases for me this month that I have not really played this at all, except for like a little bit of... I forget what I even played. I think I played one of their older shoot-em-ups. But anyways, SNK 40th Anniversary Collection. It's a pre-Neo Geo collection. That I cannot stress this enough for people who are looking into this and asking, where's Fatal Fury? Where's the King of Fighters? Where's Metal Slug? It's a pre-Neo Geo collection. It is a pre-1990 collection, which has all the games that they don't release individually. Like, you can't get these on the Switch eShop. You can't get these anywhere else on compilations unless you buy, like, the Volume 0 compilation for the PSP. Like, that only came out in Japan. Like, these are the games you have to buy the NES versions. This game has a good amount of games that are all fun games, in my opinion, mostly, at least. I'm not a huge fan of Athena, but I've only played the NES version, so... But that's kind of the appeal, is that they have every version and every region of those versions on this compilation. It's really awesome. So you get the NES and the arcade version of a game like Iron Tank, as well as the Japanese and US versions of those versions. It's really awesome. It might not be so complete, like every single version of it, but like when there's both region differences and console differences, you get all those different releases. It's awesome. And this coming in December, there's going to be a free patch that gives you 11 more games. So I already was happy to pay the $40 for this for like, I think it's like 16 games. I forget how many games it is. It's a good amount of games. Not just counting different versions. It's still a good amount. And the patch that's coming next month is going to have, the two that I'm really excited about are Beast Busters and Time Soldiers. And there's a couple other ones in there. Some of their really early stuff. And that's cool and everything. It's a free patch, so. Good stuff. Still have not really gotten to most of them. They're games I played before. They're games I like. Speaking of compilations, this is an awesome compilation that's going to get a part 2, I think releasing soon or just came out, that you can order from PlayAsia or whatever import site that you have. This is the Psikyo Shooting Collection Volume 1. So all of the awesome Psikyo shooters that have been getting released on the Switch eShop already, that's games such as The Four on Here, Strikers 1945, Gunbird, Samurai Aces, Soul Divide. I'm not sure 100% that they are all on the Switch eShop, but I know Strikers and I know Gunbird is. And that's these 4 games here on this compilation. There's a second one coming out with the sequels and 2 other ones. Strikers 2, Gunbird 2, and 2 more. I ordered from PlayAsia. Their shipping is like $7.50, which is a lot to me, but they're based out of somewhere, I don't know, somewhere outside the U.S. So I guess it's kind of a wash. So I paid like $37.50 for this. And if you haven't been on PlayAsia to check out Switch games, definitely go do that, because they have a lot. It's basically a good distributor to get these imports from. You can get them on eBay from whoever, but PlayAsia is a cool site. They have great stuff. Scusa. 3 more Switch games. Bet you can guess one of them. Golf Story from Limited Run finally came. I love this game. I played it last year. I don't have any real reason to play it right now, but I'm so glad to have this physical version. The manual for it is really awesome because it's not a manual for Golf Story, it's a manual for Golf, the in-game copy of NES Golf that they made for it, which is honestly better than having a Golf Story manual because the tone of that manual is so good in there. And this is one of the games that Best Buy worked out a deal with for Limited Run to carry Switch games. I know there's this one, I know it's Ukulele, and I forget what the third one is, it'll come to me. But those Best Buy versions are going to have alternate covers, and I'm probably going to go buy the Best Buy version of Golf Story just for a different cover because I love this game, and I have no problem buying a variant of this game. It's awesome. This is a game that had always been kind of interesting to me. I don't know if it's gotten like rave reviews, but it always looks really cool. Bendy and the Ink Machine on physical is a GameStop exclusive that I got the other day. It's a sort of survival horror adventure game with some really cool animation based on all those sort of like old 20s and 30s Mickey Mouse, Steamboat Willie era type of animation stuff. It's really cool. So I'm looking forward to playing this because it's supposed to be trippy and creepy and freaky. But I've got a lot on my plate, mostly because of this game, Pokemon Let's Go Pikachu. I only got the game. I didn't get the Pokeball. I didn't get any of the other stuff with it, but I got Pikachu. Haven't stopped playing it since it came out. It's just all of the things that people who aren't huge fans of the series like about Pokemon is all in this game, and it's pretty great. It's not for the hardcore fans. It's for literally everybody else, and it's going to get people back into Pokemon. And it's just a lot of fun. I'm like 22 hours into it, and that's way more time than I ever spend on any game. So, let me give you an idea. I have one PSP game here. This is a weird one because I didn't know how the packaging was going to be on it. I'd never seen it or heard of this package before. But this is Prince of Persia Revelations, which is like a port of Warrior Within. The combo pack, it was a combo pack though. They came with Rival Swords, which is an original game that's on like the Wii and PSP and stuff. So all I really have is the two discs inside of this one case. I've never seen it before, and I don't know how the packaging was originally, but I got this on Declutter for like $5, so it's cool to have the two games. And I have no idea what it's supposed to look like compared to this. So, I was so glad to find this yesterday. I've never seen this game in person before. This is Mad Dog McCree Gunslinger pack for the Wii. Those old, terrible, not really terrible, but the old, like, cheesy full motion video light gun games on, like, the Sega CD and the 3DO, and I think probably on, like, old PCs, like the disc-based Amiga stuff. Mad Dog McCree. There's 3 games on it. They're light gun shooters, and they're light gun shooters of like full motion video stuff. So it's old, crappy, low quality like stuff. It's on the Wii. It's ported to the Wii. I've never seen it in person. It's like a $20 game that I was so glad to find yesterday. The Wii is the best place for games like this, and I love these type of games. So this is one that was always on my list. And the best part is that if you have not seen Community, there's an episode later on in the series where it's not the same type of game like the light gun shooting game, but it's got literally the same look and feel, and it has Vince Gilligan in it as the host of the game, called Pile of Bullets, where it's like that crappy like old VCR interactive board game technology. The feel of it is identical to this, as far as I can tell. And it's worth looking up. So I look at this and I see Pile of Bullets. Pile of Bullets! 3, I'll leave the Xbox games till the end. There's one PS2 game, a game that I'd wanted for a long time actually, but I'd never seen it in person. I first heard about this game in the Capcom Character Encyclopedia, where they did they had a page on this little guy whose name I do not remember. Cosme, apparently. And this game, I guess just like went mostly unsold. There, you could get sealed copies of this. You could still get sealed copies of this for a little tiny bit more than you can get this copy for, which I think I paid $18-20 for. But it's weird because it's that weird genre of like possession gameplay. Like you are something that can possess other things and use their abilities to your advantage. But with this game, it's a Capcom game, and you go into other Capcom universes, like you can see on the back right here. Like Nemesis is on the back. I don't know how far it goes with that. Yeah, Nemesis and Jill. I don't know if it does other stuff, but just the fact that they're in it is wild to me. So yeah, always wanted that. And then 3 original Xbox games. These front 2 kind of go together in my opinion, because these are potential mascots for the Xbox that never panned out. I think Voodoo Vince was a little bit... No, I'm thinking something different. I'm thinking of Torque, which is like 2005. But Blinx, which I'd always wanted to play, it's like got that time manipulation gameplay on it. There's a sequel as well, and I don't know if I'd really bother to pick up the sequel, but I want to say Microsoft put a lot of stock into both of these characters, but putting them on advertising and trying to cover your bases with games like this does not mean that a company put a lot of stock into a game. But both of these games you'll see on promotional material for just Xbox in general around the time that they came out. They're both interesting to me. Voodoo Vince is supposed to be pretty decent. But I guess I'll have to find out. They're mascot platformers, so I want to play them regardless. And then finally, a game that is wildly popular, actually, even though it doesn't do... I think it's just got a lot of options from the times that I've actually tried to play it. Excuse me. There's a lot of events and there's a lot of different game modes. But it's so funny to me that people go wild, absolutely crazy over Test Drive Eve of Destruction. And they don't really do the same thing for Flat Out or all those other copies totaled. Just the Destruction Derbies from around this time. I'm so grateful for how many games there are like this. And Test Drive was just it's so much more expensive than all these other ones. Drive to Survive, that's the one I was trying to think of. Most of them are made by Empire. Go figure. Fairly prolific developer in that genre. But yeah, people love Test Drive Eve of Destruction. I finally got it for myself. On Declutter for half the price it usually goes for. So I just jumped on it right away. And eventually we'll see where it stands up against those other games that I mentioned. And that's it. I don't know how this month is going to go because Christmas, and I'm already feeling the squeeze, so to speak. I got half my shopping done, but we'll see how it goes. I don't know. I don't know what I'm going to buy for myself other than, picking up the Switch games that are coming out, Smash, Sega Genesis Classics coming out on the same day, stuff like that. So that's what you can expect. I have a lot of stuff to do. I have all these Switch games. I've only been playing Pokemon, so I'm busy. Oh, Ark Survival Evolved is coming out too. I'm going to get that. So anyway, have a nice holiday, and I'll see you all next month with stuff.